I think that was an overall good call, guys. This is season 2, episode 3. If you guys have not seen anything about us yet, you're doing okay jumping on here. I don't think you'll be missing out too much. It's mostly garbage before, right? Right? Confirm?
Totally.
Yes, no?
From mostly garbage to mostly harmful.
Awesome. Or if you actually would like to get caught up at some point, we do have all of our videos on YouTube, which is going to be over on youtube.com/NSTP podcast. We are slowly catching up with our audio podcast as well. And when I say slowly and catching up, we're keeping an even pace way behind and not actually catching up. But don't worry about it. We will probably eventually get there as I put Justin to work on that.
Full-time jobs are hard to get around.
That and I'm super inherently lazy. So yeah, it's not really helping. For tonight's episode, we're going to go through some introductions. I guess we'll start there. We'll go to announcements. We'll do a very brief recap because I've mostly forgotten what happened in previous episodes, and then we'll jump right into the game. So for introductions, my name is Dustin, also by the Arbitrary Nerd, and I am the GM for our Starfinder campaign.
My name is Patrick. I play Reich Oren, also known as Rye. He is our fearless leader and a handsome gentleman.
My name is Michael. I'm playing Zero, the android operative, sniper, pilot. You get the idea.
My name is Chris. I play Milla. He's the Yosoki mechanic, and I'm kind of sick tonight. Conflu. Oh, yeah.
I'm Nick. I play Brawl. He's a Yosoki soldier. And I also went to the con, but I did not get con flu.
My name is Justin. I'm playing Seeker, the android technomancer, who is also a brilliant artist. And I am trying to fix what's wrong with our dice right now. I fixed it. Good job, Justin. Yeah.
I think that was probably the best intro we've ever had.
Because I muted myself.
It was very to the point.
Yeah.
I mean,
Rise was nice and short.
We should have had some more banter. Can we redo it?
No,
yeah, let's redo it.
Absolutely not. God damn. Announcements, please. Nick, you go.
Okay. So while we were at PAX, we were able to run into the Cosmic Crit crew, we being myself and Chris.
Yeah.
And we played like board games and everything all night. It was glorious. You
I
know,
brought
at the
him to
video
my-
game convention.
I brought him to my place of business. I got some beers. We had some fun time. We played board games. We got some cool Cosmic Crit pins. See? I put that.
Mine's
that
more in
scoop right
focus.
on my bag.
Yeah, Nick is way more in focus.
I put the picture up.
I put it on my bag. So
Shiny.
I like to
Pictures
show
up.
my pins off.
And so if you guys could, and Justin just brought up the epic photo that we took at Chris's work
Oh yeah.
as we went out for pretzels and beers and stuff. Cosmic Crit did just release their 32nd episode, right in line with us, actually. I think we are currently tying with episodes with this one recorded today. So if you could go give them a nice little check out there at cosmiccrit.com, I believe is the website. That would be cool.
And
We'd
tell 'em I
really
said hi.
appreciate it.
I'm so jelly of you guys that you could put me on a sandwich.
Nope.
That was
Nope.
bad.
Absolutely. Nope.
Just
I like it.
I did too, but it was still bad.
It was
I don't have
bad.
I don't have any pens, so I'm now reduced to using a Sharpie I just found.
Why don't you use a pencil?
Brand new. I don't have any pencils in my basement because I'm not weird. And I'm totally going to get high off of Sharpie fumes tonight. That's what's going to happen. I can already...
That's nothing to do with the stream. That's just a typical Saturday, though.
Yeah, this is my Saturday pen. Did you guys already cover everything you want to for PAX?
Yeah.
Perfect. Hello, Cosmic Grit, and thank you so much for hanging out with my two
Idiots.
almost most problem childs. Pat wasn't there, so it's close.
Since when am I a problem child?
How many
when am
twos
I
have
a
you
problem
rolled?
child?
Oh, but that's in character. That's not Nick. That's Brawl.
I don't have any differentiation between either of you, so
I'm pretty cool with just breaking the game.
Fair enough.
so.
I'm
Okay.
a gentleman and a scholar. I resent this.
Yep. And for my only announcements for tonight, well, no, I lied. I have two. Ha, surprise. First one, I want to pitch. So we've been talking about an upcoming Kickstarter. Well, it showed up today. Today is the launch of and let me find it, the Laser and Liches Tales from the Retroverse 5e Kickstarter. If you guys were to Google Lasers and Liches, you'll find their Kickstarter campaign. I've already backed it because I'm super excited for this. And we've joked a little bit that this is the game that Rye streams in universe, is Lasers and Liches. But if you guys want to see the actual real deal with some of like the coolest art for a D&D thing I've ever seen, check it out, Lasers and Liches. And yeah, that started today, and it's already, I'm not good at math, I'm going to say almost halfway to its goal. That's not accurate, but it's close, I think. All right. And my other announcement is, and I'm trying to pull up where we're seeing that, we have Stream Boss going. And where is that? Oh, it's got a new spot. Oh, is that it? HP is 288 left. Is that right, Nick?
Yes.
So for Stream Boss, what Stream Boss is on our stream is there will be a special encounter triggered whenever the Stream Boss goal is hit. Stream Boss's HP is brought down whenever you guys subscribe, follow, or throw bits at us. So if you guys want to see the party encounter Krellis, the bounty hunter of several episodes ago fame and has already been a recurring character, and you want to see them actually go toe-to-toe, harass that Stream Boss and get that last 288 HP down. I will say it won't happen this episode. It'll trigger in the next episode. Although knowing now how close we are, I will have it in my pocket ready to go. I just don't have the updated stats. I had the last season stats. I need to get season 2 stats for Krellis. All right, that's all I have for announcements. Does anyone have anything else they want to go over? Then we're going to go right into the recap. And last time the party split. Why? I have no idea. I can't. I try. I put it in the name. It just won't fly.
Never split the party. Does it first episode of the season?
It was
And does it the
episode.
first episode of the actual show?
Justinian.
What was that?
Justinian's hair. It caught us off guard.
Yeah,
It's
that's
true.
That's very true.
The party had split up and then gotten into some issues where we had Miller and Rye aboard an enemy spaceship, which was the same design as the Indecision, which is a bit weird because up until now the Indecision was a one-of-a-kind deal. There were some people aboard, or I guess it was one living individual aboard the ship and some robots modeled after our friend Rex. And the Miller tried to do some lovely espionage and spy knockouts type stuff. Got
Roll
immediately
20.
caught.
Yeah,
But,
roll
like,
20 was not working for me that night.
Yeah, hopefully it's
Welcome
better
to my
tonight.
life.
Yeah.
And they ended up initiating a trade between the two ships when they realized, or when the crew member on there realized that Miller wasn't a child and Rye wasn't a woman. So that initiated a transfer. That went poorly because Zero decided to blow like a missile-laden robot's head off, which caused some chaos. And then
I think
after
it worked out quite well, actually.
I guess it's fair. None of you died, so we'll go with it. After a very brief ship combat following that, the party was actually able to disable the enemy ship and get access to the cargo container they were carrying. We ended last episode opening the cargo container, and inside we found four different mechs. These are almost 60 feet large mechanized suits for combat. We didn't go much into them, although, Justin, do you have the Roll20 window up?
I can. Do now.
Please do. We've got the mechs here, and these were all done as special art delivery and request from a fellow who goes by the handle of Rusted Chrome. And we're going to start picking up chatting about them, and that's where the episode will start. Did I miss anything you guys wanted to bring up for the recap? Just going to stop asking that because I don't think you guys remember what happens episode to episode.
No, I do.
Yeah, you did a pretty good job of recapping.
Yeah.
I can tell you that Brawl much appreciated our temporary captain over our usual captain.
While Rye was aboard the enemy vessel, Dustinian, space pirate extraordinaire, had stepped into the captain seat of the Indecision.
Yeah,
His
he did a
only
whole lot of
action,
nothing.
his only action was to chat up Brawl and say how good he was doing.
And flirt.
And we should actually point out that Brawl did actually do good.
I would say he did well, more than good.
He didn't fail once.
Yeah,
what
I
do you-
haven't failed once yet, other than that perception check that I still rolled well, but didn't make.
Did Rye see it?
Did I see him do well?
Yep.
No.
Maybe once.
No, you wouldn't have really seen it. You were probably too busy getting undressed, if anything. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the steady. Probably not.
It's on the
Yeah.
records if you wanted to watch it, though.
That is accurate.
mean-
That is accurate, but we'll go with that. All right, so in session, guys. We are in the new attached hangar to the Indecision, which is apparently a modular piece made for your design of ship, and within it, it housed on each side 2 very large mechs. This hangar is a massive attachment that you guys just kind of backed up and parked into. It has its own engines, so you guys will be able to fly through space, no problem with that. In terms of these mechs, you open up to on the left side of this hangar. You've got and I'm just going to go off of the art. So for everyone who can see the pictures, feel free to walk around or watch around while I try and describe these things. And everyone on the audio podcast, I'm sorry. The first mech is done in colors of a dull red and I suppose dull blue, slight metallic sheen to the colors. It is notable for 6 glowing chest lights of green hue, and the one that sets it apart from the other units in this room so far are heavy spiked gauntlets attached to the mechanized wrists. The head looks somewhat humanoid with angular designs, glowing green eyes, and a pair of spikes hanging from just off center from the forehead. The mech next to it is brown in hue and is most notable for how many variety of compartments it features, which are done in different shades of black throughout its body. It features 2 clusters of those glowing green orbs in its chest, with its eyes are also 2 glowing green faces, humanoid, but almost looks a little bit mousier, which makes sense because we think it's going to Aryasoki. On the opposite side of the room, we have a mech done up in black, or I suppose dark green and light green camouflage, which is a little unusual for a unit that's probably mostly used in space, but we'll get to that, you space bastards. And the notable features of this are the 6 glowing orbs from the other and the chest pieces are actually just lines, and the eyes have been replaced by a center glowing orb with some additional smaller dots around it. And it has almost what looks to be ears or antenna coming off the side of its head, as well as a shoulder pauldron coming off of its right arm. The last mech next to that one is in bright, almost garish colors, primarily purple with red accents. It is showing a prominent 6 glowing green orbs in the center of its chest, which seems to be surrounding the hatch to get access to it. And its face is, again, that's somewhat humanoid style, but almost appears to be wearing a red mask around it. All of them, in one spot or another, feature the broken star logo of the Blue Star Corporation, which our party hopefully remembers were the creators of the Indecision, as well as the model of droid, or not droid, yeah, I guess droid that Rex is. Questions on that, guys, before I go on?
Where's Stella?
Yeah, thank you. What was that, Patrick?
No, continue.
I'm assuming "Where's mine" is the quote.
Continuation from. It's called a callback.
I don't think you can call back to the end of last episode and the beginning of the first episode.
Just did.
You never thought that was going to come back around, but little did you know. 5 minutes from when you listened to the last thing. Oh no!
I already have Sharpie all over myself. Oh, no.
And now it's on your head.
No, wrong hand. Stop it.
He was concerned for a second.
I'm so bald and pasty pale that it would really show. All right, you guys, the party is now there. You guys are towards the Indecision. There's a door that opens up midway into this rather massive hangar. In terms of that, you were like halfway up, so you're about 40 feet off of the ground. There are stairs that go down. It does seem like the hangar itself is mostly designed for 0G. And by the door where you are, there is controls to control the gravity in the space. Most of the things moving around here likely do better in 0 gravity. You are joined by Dustinian, who comes behind you guys, looks over your shoulders at the mechs, and kind of gets a scowl on his face. And he absentmindedly brushes his long flowing locks out of his face. He doesn't say anything, however, as you guys are given room to explore this hangar. What do you guys do?
Look for a computer terminal.
There is not far from you. If you were to walk to the very edge of, I guess, this kind of balcony you're on, there is a computer terminal. And when you look over the edge, like again to the ground level, there are actually terminal stations outside each of the individual mechs.
So as we're in this container, are we at like the top of it and we're looking down, or are we at the bottom and we're looking up?
As I said maybe 3 minutes ago, you are.
Yeah, I wasn't paying
exactly
attention too well.
40 feet up, you piece of spoop.
So would that be about chest high on the mechs?
Midway, and I'd say about
cross
chest high
level.
in the mechs. Yeah.
Okay.
Seeker is going to be just jumping up and down, like super enthusiastic about this. His circuitry is going crazy, all different rainbow colors. Oh, they're so beautiful! Oh, I like this one especially. As he runs to the purple and red mech. Can I keep it? Is it mine?
The balcony you were on does not go all the way around the room. It just is stationed on the back of that wall. To get to the purple and red mech, you would need to follow like a stairs that quickly turn into a ladder down into the bottom floor and approach that way, which is totally kosher. I'm just
He
clarifying.
does that.
Done. Okay.
All of the as he gets excited, all of the colors rushing all over the place. Rye just kind of covers his eyes. Seeker, you're turning into a disco. Stop it.
Ooh, I don't know what that is. What is that? Sounds fun.
I hate you.
Disco.
He doesn't know about that, but he likes that that Sheeran music.
Was that a Hitchhiker's Guide reference?
It was.
Okay.
kind of.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, I mean, with this name, we gotta.
Yeah.
No, we don't have to. We don't.
I
We
feel like
don't
it's
have
false
to.
advertising if we don't.
We choose to.
I don't care if you choose to. But if you make it super inorganic, I will change the show name to Spoop. It'll just be renamed Spoop.
Oh, that would have been a great name.
Actually, yeah, that would have been a great name.
Stop it.
Tune
No.
in
I don't think it would have.
of
Nope.
Spook.
Seeker, as you eventually make your way to the purple and red, somewhat garish mech, what's your take here? There is no clear ladder up into the hangar area where you would get into the not the hangar. I'm sorry, the wherever a pilot rides. That word has left me. I'm gone.
Cockpit.
maybe.
The cockpit.
Cockpit. The chest cockpit. Yes. And there is a computer terminal, like kind of off center from it. Shut up, Patrick.
I was reacting to Nicholas. I was not reacting to you.
My
I
answer
accept
is
your
unchanged.
I accept your apology.
The apology is shut up, Patrick.
I accept your apology.
Justin, what do you do?
So you said there is a computer terminal sort of thing there?
Yes. Yep.
All right, yeah. I will log on to that computer terminal, or try to at least.
Sure. What loads up is the split star logo and like a password thing. So if you wanted to try and use a computer's check to hack it, you totally could.
Sure am.
And as no one is behind you, they can't help.
I do it wirelessly.
Wait, didn't Mike say he was also... Didn't Zero say he was also going to the...
I was going to the one that was up where we were.
Oh,
The
okay,
green
so
mech?
there's multiple ones then?
No,
Oh,
there
the
was
computer terminal. Yeah, there is a computer terminal at the very edge of that balcony.
Is there paint nearby?
At 26.
Not on the balcony. The 26 gets you access. The password apparently was password. And
Password 1.
You get mostly access to it, and it props up as you got a couple of controls that you can do with the mech, which mostly seem to be for maintenance, where you can kind of control it remotely very minimally based on kind of like how it's housed against the wall. Then there's a like a mech profile, and it's called Rust Unit 04, code name Artifex, Artifex for Christopher. It is listed with a specialty. It's just listed as magic integration testing, and the status mark is just like a red line through it. It doesn't look like they've ever pursued much more than that, and that's really all it has for profile. You get some like generic stats and things for it, like height of 60 feet, weight of the thing, which I'm not going to do because I have no idea, and just like the generic build for it. Not much by way of full schematics, just a basic profile.
Artifacts? That's such a cool name! Hey guys, what's your names?
I'm Brawl.
Milla.
I want to know. So I'm actually gonna go and check all the other ones then.
Sure. I'll give it to you with your computers. Check all the password is password. The one next to yours is that the green and darker green mech. I don't know why I said that. The Camo Mech. And that is Rust Unit 03, the Idolum, spelled IDOLUM, Christopher. Specialty listed on its kind of little stat sheet is ranged combat, and it has a prototype module for squad telemetry. No actual explanations as to what those things do, but that is the general listing, and it's got the same general stat line in terms of weight, height, everything as the artifacts. You get to the brown mech, the one with all of the compartments, known as Rust Unit 02, the Machinor, Machinor. Specialty listed as fleet repairs, and it has a prototype unit as a combat repair kit. And the last one, which is the red and blue-ish mech, and that one is Rust Unit 01, named Proximus. Specialty is close quarter combat, and it has a prototype for a physical integration system. That one is slightly heavier than the other ones. That's about it.
It's got to lose some weight.
A little bit. Zero, when you activate the console you're at, it does not have any sort of load screen. It seems to be a control unit for the balcony you're on. The balcony does appear to be able to go lower or higher, and it does seem to have the ability to, at least portions of it, to extend further out. So you could get a catwalk to where the cockpits are from here, just by manipulating the controls. Traditional rest pose is just on the back wall.
All right, I would bring us down to the lower level.
Okay, perfect. What's your next step, guys?
I go over to my mech. The Mech 01.
Proximus?
Proximus. And I see if there's a way for me to get in there.
As Seeker left the computer unlocked for you, I assume?
Yep.
Okay. You see that there is a control for like a little elevator, and the elevator is set into the floor in front of it with some, black and yellow caution marking. If you were to stand on that and trigger the computer, you are able to get an elevator up. It's pretty slow, and you can tell that this is more of a maintenance way to access, not the actual traditional way to access. Again, this is mostly a 0G focused room. You are able to get up to the cockpit, and it opens with a touch. Dead center of its chest, around those large green glowing orbs, you're able to get access.
What does the inside look like?
The cockpit for yours is going to be slightly different than the other ones. It's a little bit heavier, broad-chested, and inside it does seem to have instead of a seat, there's a rest point against the back wall where you could theoretically sit, but the rest of the unit does seem to be focused around tracking your movement. It does seem to be like a 3D spherical camera setup with a haptic suit, which is just like a black, tight elastic suit that if you were to wear it, would be very skin tight, and ideally it'll appear to track your motions. And that seems to be how this mech is controlled, not through traditional starship controls.
Whoa, this is cool.
Right? Seeker runs over to Artifacts and hugs its leg as much as he can. Is little his fuzzy handcuffs that are still on his arm from a year ago hasn't taken them off. Start clanging against it.
Brown and gross.
Oh, that's
Hey, I don't sweat or anything. I'm an android.
They're not so fuzzy anymore.
I washed them.
The fuzziness is kind of washed off. It's all just plastic rings with little bits of pink sticking out of it.
No, I take good care of it.
Got the smelly eggs smell all over it.
That's probably canon.
Yeah.
He has a cannon?
Yes. Anyone else jumping into their mechs?
I will
Actually,
jump into it.
I was going to say, turning to Dustinian, What did you intend to do with these?
These, we didn't know we'd find anything quite like this. I'm still thinking about it. If you wanted to take a look, please be my guest. This isn't what I was hoping for.
What were you hoping for? Because this is a pretty great thing to find.
Apparently, leave-in conditioner.
This is supposed to be all that's left from a research facility out in the vast from the Border Space Union, and I was hoping something we could use, but not much. These are going to draw too much heat. I don't think the commander will have any use for these.
Oh, perfect. We'll take them then.
Well, I'd run it by the commander first, but like I said, if you want to go poke around,
Well,
I guess.
I didn't see the commander taking these.
Well, we don't quite work alone, despite what it looks like sometimes. My commander is based in the Diaspora, which is where I think my lovely brother Justinian was hoping to have me take you.
I look at Justinian. Don't worry about it. I'm the commander here. Boys, you can take them.
Yay, right? It's something good.
Justinian at this point shrugs, which bounces his hair, and he lets it go. He looks disappointed. This is not what he was expecting to find. Anyone else get into their mechs just so we can speed that process up?
Yes.
Sure, I get into mine.
Yes. So you went back to your chair.
We'll cover that in a little bit, but I'm going to assume that Rye's preference is not going to be with mech combat.
Absolutely. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I'm looking forward to seeing how you run the ship. However, does anyone else jump into the suits? If
Yes.
Rye wants to jump into a suit, he may. Okay.
Yeah, definitely jumping in that suit.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, it depends. Because I believe I'm still in drag.
I'll allow it to be however you want it to be.
No, you changed.
I did change? Oh, okay. That's right, I did. I forgot.
Ryan, you want to come sit with me? There's space.
There isn't that
Kind
much
of.
space. No. When you actually open up the cockpit to artifacts, it is more of a traditional pilot setup. It almost looks like a one-man starship in terms of how the controls are oriented. You've got your standard form-fitting pilot's chair with like a joystick control and buttons and switches, and then when the hatch closes, you get access to the vid screen. It is definitely a different style than Proximus.
We'll approach Adalum.
I look at each of the crew members to excitedly I want to see the inside of one of these mechs, and then I realize I have to share that space with them, and my joy slowly goes away from my face as I look at all the different possible people that I would share a confined space with, and I just kind of go, "No, it's okay. Just send me a picture."
And as Rye shudders, Zero's goes to Idolum.
Yep.
Perfect. Inside looks very similar to the inside of the artifacts unit. The only difference is that there appears to be more of a focus, and there's a pull down mechanic for something that appears to kind of go over the view screen. The actual use isn't clear just yet, but it does appear to be like an additional component you can move around.
I turned off my targeting computer.
Yeah, more or less. Some sort of targeting computer. Fine. Eat it. And Miller, are you inspecting the other one or not?
So Miller, excuse me. Miller is kind of shaken with rage, and then he takes a deep breath. He kind of walks up to the edge of the balcony, just kind of hangs over it, and just kind of hangs his head for a second, and then he looks up and says, "Justinian,
Oi,
and
my commander, you say?"
Your commander, yeah.
I'd rather introduce you. I don't like to tell his stories without him.
All right. I would like to meet him.
Perfect. I think I'm coming up with a plan that we can come up with that. But I see there that there's one of these units unattended. Did you want to go to a poke?
I suppose.
Take a couple minutes, and then when you've all had your fill, we'll take another look at what comes next.
All right.
I'll just hang out with your captain here, and we can admire the view.
Oh, you have fun with that.
I suspect I will.
Seeker
Right.
notices Miller's kind of not all that enthusiastic, and his mood comes down for like a couple seconds, and he's like, huh. But then he goes right back to being super happy about it.
The inner cockpit of Mackinac, the brown compartmental unit, is almost the exact same as the artifacts unit, which is a standard kind of pilot cockpit. There is a couple of component areas in there for more advanced repair tools than you're used to, especially something like in an enclosed cockpit space. And does anyone try turning their unit on? There's a very obvious like on activation switch.
Brawl would do so.
So would Seeker.
Okay, so as you guys kind of turn them on, anyone not turning them on, I guess is the better question.
Miller's not.
Miller's not?
There is 0.
Perfect. So our two children turn them on, and for both, they get like a computer readout. Their screens are both different. Again, Brawl's is more like a spherical canopy kind of thing, where Seeker has a more common like readout screen in front of him. And you get some text, mostly, some garbage. It gives you their code number and code name again. And then it says, unlock testing environment or operate in testing environment.
Ooh, that second one.
Yeah, second one.
As you both click it, it filters in red text error message and says, unit not located in testing environment.
The first one.
And as you click the first one, Brawl, do you click it?
Yeah, let's do it.
I wish I was more of an evil GM and they just exploded, but they don't. Instead, what happens is you get testing mode disengaged, bio locking sequence removed, registering, and it takes a quick scan, both of them, of your body. And it now registers both of you as users. It gives you the option to enter your names however you would like. However, it does have a rudimentary biometric scan of you two in the unit.
Nice.
Ooh.
And yeah, that's about it. That's all happens. You have access now to moving the unit. It does look like you probably shouldn't operate it without reading the manual first. And there is a manual like in like the screens that you get access to, but it would take some time to review.
Kind of like
You potentially have a trip coming up, so I think we'll use that as a training montage if we need to.
I like download it into my head.
montage.
Yes, yeah. You can. I don't think you can download it into your head.
I got a data jack. Allows me to. Yeah.
Sure, whatever. You plug in your head and you download the user. You don't quite get full knowledge. You still need to review it to assess.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you have it in there that you could recall it out on the fly. But I would recommend reading it prior to actual operation.
That's actually a good point. I'm not sure if we're doing it differently than Paizo intended, but how kind of electronic are androids in terms of like their brain and everything?
In my opinion, not very. I more look at like we've had this discussion before a couple of times. I don't think Paizo's super clear on it, in my opinion. I think they leave it open intentionally. But I feel more like replicants that just physically show more that they are androids. And I do think Starfinder as a universe has more body mods as a thing. Like Miller, who is a Yosoki, has an arm compartment. Like he has like a fake storage area in his arm.
Yep.
So like to have like a data jack in like your head in some way, shape, or form, I mean, I don't think that's unique to an android. So if you're an android plus more mechanical components, I think that's totally fine. I view you guys closer to replicants because you guys do need to eat, right? You guys do need to.
Yep.
Do you guys need to sleep? I forget.
I believe rest, is a thing that we do have to do.
So I'd say you
don't
have to
breathe.
Sort of, organic. Yeah, yeah. So I think it's like a mix. It's more like replicants with maybe some more additional. I don't think you have gears inside of you. I don't
Yeah.
picture you as like constructs or warforged in terms of like your innards.
Just like
If you have a
artificial
different picture of your
organs.
character, I will very happily retcon it and say you're an earlier design of Android. I'm very okay with that. I don't have any issues with that at all.
Because I know I've made jokes about like, oh, let me try turning something off in my brain. Somebody's phone.
Yeah, somebody's phone is Patrick.
Gotta cut
Oh,
that.
it's not my phone.
Oh, I thought you were saying giving the look. Anyways,
But yeah, I know I've made jokes like that about like shutting something off like in my brain, etc. I don't know how we're doing with that, but I guess this is good knowledge for all the people out there listening and watching.
Your
how we do
GM
it.
says, however you say is.
Cool.
I
That's how I'm
also am
doing
not
it.
saying necessarily your scenario as an android is replicated across every android scenario. We may have some more androids that are far more mechanized than you. I will also say in the Paizo books, there are androids that are created differently depending on their environment. So that also could be a factor.
Okay.
Also
I do
remember
feel
that
like I'm a little bit more mechanical.
Also
I'm okay with
remember that age-old adage, never let the rules spoil a good time, or something along those lines.
This isn't more rules as much as it is
clarification.
setting.
Yeah, setting.
But I think this point stands, and I'm totally okay with it. So whatever works for you, Justin, if you end up pulling out a gear out of like a wound you receive later in life, I'll roll with it. It's fine.
Sounds good.
However, your biometrics are in this machine. Do you share that info with your party?
Yeah. Let
All
everybody
right,
know
and
how it works.
Miller Zero, any issues with that? Are you guys going to keep them still inert?
I'll at least register myself and download the PDF for future reference.
Yeah, sure. It's actually
Same.
it's a SPDF.
Yes, it's PDF.
Same thing.
It's very quick to download. That's why it's a PDF.
Ah.
Oh, I gotta update Acrobat again.
Spacrobat.
Acrobat, yeah. Oh crap. All right, fine. So you guys have access to those, and then when you're done, Dustinian had offered to have like a roundtable meeting back in the Indecision's actual kind of lobby area, not lobby area. I'm sorry, gathering area.
Let's do it.
All right. Justin, feel free to keep Roll20 up or down as you at your leisure. And as Justinian gathers you, as a reminder to those who haven't met Justinian yet in the stream, Justinian is a space pirate the party pursued, tracked down, and was able to disable his ship. And then they were able to negotiate a deal, especially after they found out he was brother to Justinian, who currently is working for Chimera, which is a character from last season that we'll meet again in the future, hopefully.
Spoiler.
More or less, I expect whatever. You fine. Spoiler. Justinian's appearance is a primary appearance is like his really long. I think we said it was blonde hair, and it was kind of like like excessive. Like he like every like flourish he does involves his hair. His outfit is almost modeled after like an old sci-fi action hero from the Starfinder universe, which we decided was from the show Future Jazz. Thank you, Patrick. And it's like a V neck that goes almost down right above his navel, and he's not wearing anything underneath. So you've got like his chest hair going on up there. He is not fit for like open vacuum. He would have very many issues if exposed to the vacuum space. So obviously he's practicality isn't his first consideration. And as he gathers you all to the area, what was that?
Rise his first concern.
So far, so good. The area that you guys gathered in is the communal area towards the back of the ship, conference room, breakfast room, depending on who's making eggs. You are joined by Rex, your robotic companion, on treads. You are joined by Notzaw, the goblin who at least wears a mechanic's apron right now. Or I guess a welder's apron. What do we say that was?
Yeah. Yep.
A welder's apron. Okay. He's at least wearing a welder's apron, still open to the back. And then we've got Stevethan, who works with Seeker on the Science Officer Station. And we have, I'm forgetting someone, right? Is that it? No, I got it, Steven. I'm not going to go over repeating these NPCs showing up. Just assume whenever the group is gathered, NPCs arrive. If for some reason they need to get sent somewhere else, that's
Was
kosher.
Patrick mentioned?
Patrick has not been mentioned this season. He's not aboard your ship. Would you like to know where Patrick is?
Brawl doesn't
It's a
care.
good place.
You guys would know at least where you left him. You left him in the care of Chimera, who, without you guys kind of in tow, was able to gain access to Castrovel. She is Lashunta. She is inherently wealthy and has some social standing on Castrovel. So despite being kind of like an expat and being slightly maybe wanted by the Border Space Union, she was able to use her personal contacts to slip her, Justinian, and Patrick down onto Castrovel.
By the way,
I get this feeling that Patrick in our campaign is going to become the Caden Kaleen of this future. He's the accidental god in Pathfinder lore. He just kind of stumbles into things. Because so far, he should have gotten dead a few times, and I like that he hasn't yet.
I'm surprised you knew enough to bring out that reference from Pathfinder.
Well, that was the god that I assigned to Patrick's character for the one shot.
It was also, yes, it was. I had heard of...
it was also the only one he knew.
Yes, that's exactly it. I knew of Kid and Kayleen before, because when Pathfinder first came out, I thought that god was glorious, and then forgot about it in the years after.
By the way, speaking of NPCs, I totally want somebody to make some fan art of Notsob. Be hilarious.
Sitting in Rye's chair.
Something like
Butt
that, yeah.
He's
Playing
Like
with the
this
little
really
hairless
sad
rat.
goblin, just like with an apron, like, oh.
not allowed. I don't see him so much as sad anymore, just emotionless. Just walking around
Strictly
existing.
emotional.
Simply existing. Existence is kind of like just a little annoying, like minorly annoying. He's not upset with the world at large. He's just, all right.
So he'd be like Marvin the mildly paranoid android?
Or
Yeah, there you
Dustin
go.
the GM.
More or less.
Dustin the GM.
I don't know. Dustin yells a lot.
I yell just so you guys think I'm still human.
Yeah, but Notsob wants to
Like
kill
Mark
Pat too.
Zuckerberg.
True. Dustinian gathers you all and tries to gain your wandering attentions. All right. Gather around, please. I've got a quick dealio idea here if you all are willing, and if you're not, let me know and we'll figure something else out. We need to get something for my commander to show what a wonderful job I've done. I do not think those large monstrosities attached to the back of your ship now are going to cut it. We're not trying to draw any attention to ourselves in the diaspora. That's why our base is in the diaspora. So I have decided.
Roses.
I have the. Excuse me?
Roses. As an actor, whenever I'm done with a performance, someone in the front row always hands me a bouquet of roses. You should give your commander roses. It's very thoughtful.
To give you roses.
What?
They call him an ego man. That he exists to boost your ego.
Well, it works, so you should give him some roses.
You're welcome.
We'll consider that. We don't think he likes flowers, so I think that'd be a good idea. I like it. Enough of you. I do think that the coordinates I have here, which will lead my crew to yonder ship you all disabled with my assistance, we think that'll be enough. I'll have some of our boys come down, extract the current residents of the ship. We'll have the tech from the Blue Star Corporation, and we think the commander will have to be happy with that. It'll be enough. Never seen a ship like this quite before, other than, the one we're in. So we'll go with that for now, yes?
Just be good to that man.
We may be pirates, but it's not to the point where I think we'd actually harm the fella as long as he didn't resist. So,
Sense motive.
Yeah, that's a good one. Sense motive.
We're talking about the wow, I forget the
bad thing.
The Sarcesian pilot of the BSU/Blue Star ship.
Gotcha.
Sense mo. 16.
You are unable to determine an actual motive. You can't tell if they're lying or not.
Okay.
So what was you playing with to use? I can't talk today. what was your plan with the pilot then?
Oh, the boys would just extract him, drop him off somewhere on the way.
You know he's doomed either way.
We suspect we'll all shrug this mortal coil eventually.
Hmm.
Unless you're an elf, I suppose.
That is also not in my plans.
Yeah.
Or an android.
Oh, touche.
Don't
Although,
you guys retire?
well, yeah, we've never met one of you guys who never took a quick nap and woke up someone else. So,
Well, that man is
Wait,
in for a life of hell right now.
are you saying these guys have multiple personalities? Because I've only met the one.
the one android?
No, the one personality that this android has. I mean, Seeker,
Hi.
that one's kind of obvious, but this one, it's just the one.
Well, it's not like they do it every day. It's once in a while. Enough of you. You're distracting me. Stop it and stop looking quite so tasty. Yusoki friend.
Mm.
We was wondering. You said doomed. Could you extrapolate for me?
Yeah. So, if that ship is anything like ours, it's got a tracking mechanism on it. The BSU knows exactly where he is. Now, he was doomed as soon as he decided to answer our beacon. There's onboard cameras. The best that we could have done is actually blow up that ship. And let me go into it for you. Because if the BSU finds him, I'm sure this cargo that we have here was quite precious to him. Very much so. And they would probably do some pretty nasty stuff to him, seeing as, he went out of his way, stopped, and then lost said cargo. Now, if we had blown it up, then at least it would have looked like we intercepted him. He was lost in what would be, in transit, and his family would then get paid out. However,
So you mean take him onto the ship and then blow up the ship?
well, if he lives as an outlaw, then his family is going to be used against him.
Well, I'm not sure we have to get too much into that.
I'm just saying, this is all the stuff that I was thinking of.
We think it's good to consider, but I'm just going to drop the sod off. If he doesn't want to go home, he doesn't have to go home. For the ship, well, about that, he gives like a little dog whistle almost. And can I have everyone make a perception check?
27.
24.
21.
21.
28 with a nat 20 again.
Wow.
I'm
You
just made of
you
Thank
all
you.
notice as he whistles, one of his rings, and he's got a couple kind of gaudy rings on his hands. One of his rings glows for a moment and then kind of fades. And he says, "It'll be just a moment now. I've got some boys traveling in the drift not too far away. When they come into real space, they'll come a couple minutes, loot the ship. Under your advisement, we'll maybe not tow the ship home. I think that's a good idea. But we'll let the current resident decide what he wants to do. Do you want him?"
I don't want him.
Not really.
I might want him.
Before
I'm
you
good.
board the ship, make sure they disable all the robots.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. That's the little stuff. I'll let the boys handle it.
Can we take the robots? Maybe we could use more on the ship.
Yes, that's what we need. More Rexes.
I'm going to go ahead and stake a claim. You get the big toys. I'll take anything in the ship.
I
Done.
think that sounds fair.
We don't. This was quite a trial for me, but I'll let it go this time. Mostly because I just don't want to deal with that headache you've attached to your rear end.
I can show you how to disable the tracking device. I disabled the one on this one. Just took a few shots.
If you'd like, yeah, walk me down. The other end of my bargain, though, I'd like to take you into the diaspora. I know you lads have been having a bit of a trouble getting into the Pact Worlds.
Mhm.
Well, What was that?
I said, I'm agreed.
The thing with pirates, we don't really follow the rules, and we tend to find all the little loopholes. And to be fair, if there's one area the Border Space Union, the G-Sphere, has not gotten too fond of is patrolling the diaspora. So if there was one area that we might be able to sneak in with less surveillance, that'd be it. And wunderbar, that's where we are all stationed. Don't worry about the Twitching language. Not a problem. No problem.
It hurt me a little.
Yeah.
I didn't say he was a good mockery of future jazz. You're gonna have to go with it. Any opposition to the plan to accompany the boys and I back to home?
None at all.
Nope.
We had to go back there anyways, didn't we?
The plan was to go to the Pact Worlds. You guys don't currently have a way to get there, and it's been about a year. You know very well that any of the standard avenues are very heavily guarded by the Border Space Union, which again, in the Pact Worlds, goes by the name the Gerson Sphere. In the broader reaches, the vast, you'll still hear the Border Space Union used, and it's probably more accurate. But when you get into the Pact Worlds, it kind of transitions into using the Gerson Sphere because it's kind of the way the government shifted. But this would be your avenue into the Pact Worlds, and it is the kind of onus for the mission that Justinian gave you to find his brother because he knew his brother had access. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, with no opposition, you guys wait for only a handful of minutes, and a number of different variety of starships kind of stream in. Some pop in from drift space, but most of them, because of the way drift travel without actual like waystones, is kind of not exact. It takes like maybe say an hour for a handful of different vessels to show up, and they're all unlike Justinian's vessel, which you maimed. They're all actually heavily armed, and they're a hodgepodge of like different types of ships from different governments or different factories or different sometimes eras. And you're pretty sure that the fact that Justinian didn't call them in when you guys were attacking him shows that he was doing some kind of feint or is a complete idiot. I'll let you guys figure out how that goes. They come in, without like off screen for you guys, they're able to get into the ship. They take what they need from it. They don't disclose that to you openly as to what they get from the ship. And then they pull up back and they actually follow Miller's suggestion of destroying it. They have actually taken the Sarcesian pilot aboard. At least that's what you were told, and you have no real way to verify or see if they're lying. After that, you form a mini convoy fleet. You get coordinates for a drift travel jaunt into the Pact Worlds. It is into, apparently, as far as you can tell based on your computer schematics, just empty space. There's nothing there. You're not even particularly close to the diaspora with the listed jump. As long as you guys have no qualms, does Zero punch the drift drive engine into activation?
Assuming nobody objected, yes.
Okay. Perfect. You guys enter the drift. So everything, all of the ships in kind of varying ways, both expand and kind of shrink in your perception at the same time. Basically, they grow smaller, and then they become kind of get wider and taller and also shorter, and then they disappear, appearing into drift space. Drift space looks like a kaleidoscope of colors and discordant nebulae. No stars to speak of, although there are kind of random shapes and lights and distinct areas of drift space. You guys aren't lollygagging, you're not visiting, you just have your ship computer set to travel, and it takes you guys what is that? Chris, do you remember what the drift travel from Vast?
4 days or something like that.
I think it's 5 plus 1d4 or 1d6. I forget for the drift to Vast. Either way, I'll roll a d6. We'll roll with it. You guys have probably 11 days worth of travel, I think, to get there. Oh no, so you actually are going to the Pact Worlds. I don't know if that's easier.
So what was it?
We're going from Vast to Pact Worlds. or to near space, vast to near space.
Travel in system to Epsilon Station. Travel to near space is 3d6 days.
Okay. So the 10. It takes you guys 14 days of travel in the drift to get to this destination. I do not want to spend 14 days of RP in this episode,
Why
but
Mhm.
what do you guys do? Like, what's your primary focus during these 14 days? And I'll have you go round robin in the order you introduced yourselves. Patrick.
During this time, probably just practicing my trying to improve my character that I played previously.
The woman?
Yes.
Okay.
And practicing other roles, basically going around being obnoxious, quoting various plays and skits and whatnot, and probably cooking up a storm, recording videos, practicing editing, the usual.
Give me
For
a...
Rice Oven.
For
For
Rice
what?
Oven.
Yeah, for Rice Oven.
Could you give me a disguise roll or disguise check?
24?
Jot this down somewhere. The next time you have to perform a disguise check against an enemy, you'll get just a latent +2 modifier.
Okie dokie.
It's a one-time use. It's kind of like you have them all fresh in your mind. You're really prepared for it, and that'll be one way we can kind of utilize that drift travel to give you guys some actual tangible benefits. Or I guess tangible is a weird use for that, but whatever. After Rye, we have Zero. Zero, you next. Zero,
Yep.
what are you doing?
So a couple things. One is going to search the new cargo area that we just got, where the mechs are stored, for any type of transmitters, tracking devices, things along those natures. Also, check the mechs for those things.
Getting guidance from Miller, you notice that these items were highly prototype models, and also the existence of mechs, which they call rusts. They were extremely black book operations. There is actively no tracking, and if you do like a Google search for it, you don't get any intonation. Like the names don't bring anything up. The unit numbers, any of the schematic stuff doesn't get you any hits. So no tracking devices, but a good search nonetheless.
And then also spend time reading the manual and checking other the computers to see what type of interface they have with the mechs, as far as maybe equipping weapons and stuff like that to the mechs.
Perfect question. You get to the weapons category, and you notice that every mech has some onboard weaponry. We have Proximus with his kind of battle gloves, the battle gauntlets that are attached, and he does have some sort of small arms cannon embedded in his shoulders. For the Machinor, the shoulder capsules, they're actually apparently individual rockets that can be fired either en masse or individually. Otherwise, no inherent weapons, except for the universal weapon I'll get to. The Eidolon, the one that you have registered for, doesn't have any weaponry other than a small wrist-mounted blaster. And obviously has, you see kind of support modules for long range weaponry especially, but nothing is there's no weaponry inside your hangar. The Artifacts, which is the one that's kind of registered with Seeker, has no inherent weapons whatsoever. Yep, weaponless. Except each and every unit has a device that is called let's see. How do I not get sued using this term? How do we want to call beam sabers in this game, guys?
Babers.
Sabers?
Babers.
Energy sabers? Yeah?
No.
What do we want to go with? We got to go with something that's not beam sabers or lightsabers.
Boards.
What?
Boards. Beam swords.
Boards? No, absolutely not. I refuse.
Ooh, how about
Energy saber.
Justin, it sounds like you had something. I liked you. You seem to.
I did have something, but I couldn't think of the word, so no.
We'll call them right now. They're just labeled as
Photon
cutters.
saber.
No, we'll just call them
Or
cutters.
plasma swords.
Cutter works.
No. Plasma cutter? No, wait, that's Dead Space. Damn it. Just cutters. We'll
figure it out.
Cutters for now. We'll come back to it. You guys can give it a nickname, but in terms of code name, it's just called a cutter. But when you activate one of these cutters, it does seem to be a large blade of actual energy of some sort, and it does have the specialty of basically being made to cut through starship hull. That is the primary weapon used in mech to starship combat, is getting up close and using these cutters.
Yes.
Otherwise, no inherent weapons, but they do support weaponry. And sorry, what was that, Miller?
I was gonna say, Steve, come up with the name. Do it.
Steve, looking for a name for our cutters, which are totally not beam sabers.
We're not limiting that to Steve. Anybody can come up with a great name for us.
Yeah, we just rely on Stevathan for all of our garbage. Sorry, Stevathan's garbage. Stevathan knows what he's doing. Yeah. So in terms of that, yeah, you get nothing in terms of other weaponry. Was there anything else you were looking into?
Maybe just messaging my contacts from border space, see if what we just did like pops up at all.
You're talking about your contacts within the border space union,
or just border space in general, the ones
Okay.
that I had set up throughout the year.
Okay. The border space union contacts you used to have all, for the most part, blackballed you. You are like an actual visible wanted entity. So even the ones that were still willing to work with you, even regardless of what side of the kind of law you were on, they have taken a step back from contacting you. However, you do have contacts throughout the vast, or at least to a small capacity, anything that would have come through pistol or prior contacts. You haven't triggered any known alerts. The transportation of these units was, again, another form of black ops in terms of they didn't want that on the record, which is why it had no protection and had the smallest shipping possible. They wanted to draw zero attention to this action, so they haven't broadcast that it went poorly.
Other than that, though, probably just training with the mech or reading the training manual.
Okay, getting through it, maybe run through some motions. That's fair. And next up, it's one of you Yosokis.
Yeah. So Miller's going to spend his time, obviously, familiarizing himself with the mech, working with NotSub to categorize all the ship parts that he got. But he wants to work on some of the inventions that we discussed. I have some of the DCs if you'd like me to roll some.
Yes, and just talk about what your creation is that you're trying to work on.
All right. The first one I would like to do is a type of grenade.
Okay.
I don't even have to roll because the DC is pretty easy, but I will roll anyways. Wow. Well, I made it. I just barely made it.
Didn't have to roll. Rolls a brawl.
So the first one is a distract grenade. So basically, what he does is he finds all sorts of little noisemakers. He just kind of jam packs them into a tight little compact grenade, and we'll go from there.
Okay, primes it for explosion.
The other one, can I work on the serum?
You've got 14 days. Yeah, I'll give it to you.
All right. What did we decide for as a role for that? Did we decide medicine? Or
life science, I think.
Life science.
Life science.
So
Can I assist him on that?
Is it something we're working on for, Brawl?
No. This is just something it's a bunch of nanobots.
If I had to guess, and Miller, feel free to interrupt me, Miller would probably be working on these projects solo.
Very
unless
much so.
they're involved with that particular person, and even then, it's a maybe.
But it's gonna be this plus 13. Are you effing kidding me?
Does a 15 make it?
No, by one.
2 2s in a row.
Yeah, I am the new Brawl.
Are
New
you?
Brawls?
Yeah, you are the new Brawl. Are you spending? Did we put a cost in terms of what you're using for? I'm sorry, I'm missing the. It's not creds. It is universal.
Universal
UPB.
polymer. Yeah.
I switched that up. Universal polymer base. That's
UPB, right?
Yeah.
Universal peanut butter.
No. Did we give a UPB cost to that?
500.
I will say they are spent
Okay.
on a failure as well, which is standard crafting, and that's the issue with it. And obviously, you'll get better at crafting, not have the issue. But yeah, your frustrations mount throughout the trip. You're not quite abated. You get a nice grenade prototype done, and you're, I assume, happy with it. But even then, you think it could have been better had
Oh,
you.
it definitely could have been.
Yeah. All right. Anything with the other characters you want to go into, or is that good?
I'm good for now.
Okay. That should be my other Yosoki friend.
Yep. So Brawl, ecstatic that he has another upgrade on top of his power armor, just a whole nother layer between him and whatever he's getting up in close quarters with. He's going to see, outside of reading the manual, of course, everybody else is doing it. He's going to see if he can integrate the suit that was described in the cockpit of the power armor to actually function while he wears his power armor.
Oh,
The important things.
so big picture. You know what? Give me an engineering check. Let's see how this works for you.
Don't
I guess
fail me now. 16.
It's not pretty, but in a pinch, if you had to, you were able to set up the haptic suit in such a way that you can get it over the power armor. However, it reduces a little bit of your sensitivity, so it may affect like perception-based things when you do it this way. Also, it takes longer to get into the suit.
Mhm.
It's not something that you can kind of like off and on as quickly as you could. When you're just yourself, you're really able to scramble into that suit and get it going, zipped up, suction cupped up to you, and you're good to go. With the power armor, it requires you to kind of like layer it over like I don't want to say a condom, but it's kind of like a condom. And then you have to jump in the suit itself and like finish it that way.
Gotcha.
It's not pretty, but you can make it work. So if you have the time, it actually may give you some benefits to doing this. When you actually get into combat, you'll see kind of how things run. Right
Cool.
now, when you're doing the manual and like some of the basic training, you're not getting the specialty modules. Those all seem to be restricted for active use, which you guys haven't done yet. But yeah, you can make it work. It's just not pretty.
Okay. Yep, that's all he wanted to do.
Okay. Yeah, you spent a lot of time in there, and you look like, I feel like you look like a Robin Williams skit with Flubber, like trying to get into. Yeah, it's bad. Does anyone remember that movie? Am I the only one? You guys?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
No, nobody remembers that movie but you, Dustin.
It got no reactions. Come on, Flubber was okay. That should lead me to my last android.
Yep. So Seeker is going to be in his mech doing some work on it, trying to customize a little bit of the outside, maybe try to paint. Also customizing the cockpit, putting fuzzy dice up, trying to change maybe the UI or something in there. However, he fails at it, and he gets really frustrated because nothing he does satisfies him. And it's been this way for pretty much a year. He can't get any of his artwork to really click with him. He does it. He makes art. He programs things. He tries infusing his code with different things, but it's just not really working for him for whatever reason.
So he feels impotent, you mean?
Yes. But he also probably very soon after we headed into the drift, he probably would have talked to Miller about why he's not feeling too good. I don't know if that's something we want to do on stream, but
no, I'd say go for it. Now, when you were talking about you're talking to Miller about not feeling well, are you talking about Miller not feeling well, or are you telling Miller how Seeker's not feeling well?
No, about Miller, because I guess we could just go into it. So
go for it.
So Seeker probably approached Miller at his bench, working on stuff. Like, Miller, excuse me, I just wanted to talk for a bit.
Yes, Seeker. What can I do you for?
Are you okay?
I'm fine. What's going on?
Well, we had these big, giant, gorgeous mechs it's so cool, and I thought you would be really super excited about it, but you weren't.
Oh, believe me, I am quite ecstatic. I have a lot of mixed feelings about it, Sika.
But I mean, you didn't show it very much. I try to show everything I'm feeling, because that way people know that I'm feeling it.
Yeah, I guess it'd be hard to kind of explain it to you. Sika, do you have a family?
Not that I know of. I don't
Yeah.
think.
I really don't know much about the androids and the androids' way of life. I guess it would be kind of really hard to explain it to you, but I don't know. Ever since the attack on Pistol, I've just had a burning hatred. I want to get back at them. They actively attacked my family.
Oh, you have a family?
I have a very large family.
Seeker's circuits go kind of like dark blue, getting real sad.
I do have a family. Luckily, in my selfishness, I decided to save my family over, well, everybody else's. I saved the planet, which logically should have been one of the first to go. It's a dying planet, Hackathon. Whereas Brawl's family, we've been trying to get in touch with them for the better part of a year now, and no luck.
That is
We
absolutely terrible. How did I not know this?
Well, you're the first one to ask.
Have you heard from your family?
No.
No?
Well, we've been trying to get a hold of anybody from the Pack Worlds. Hopefully, Dustinian will be able to help us.
That is absolutely dreadful. Oh, we
Sure
must
is.
go talk to them right now. We must find anything out about them.
In due time, my friend.
Okay, well, just
At least, yeah, thanks for coming by.
just try to cheer up, okay?
I'll try, buddy.
Yes, that sounds good. I'm glad we had this talk. I'm very happy talking to you.
All right. I'm very happy talking to you.
Oh,
Sika.
thank you. Nobody usually is.
Uh,
I don't know why.
You're very ecstatic.
I try.
I know.
Too hard.
I'm also picturing him actually meaning static, and it's like just all right, no, that works there for me. I'm going to give one more return to our captain, just in case he wants to come back for a throwback. Is there anything you do after like kind of watching the crew go about their things throughout these 14 days?
No, I can't really. I'm sorry, I got nothing.
You didn't need to have anything. I always feel bad making someone go first, and then you kind of don't get anything out of it if you felt like there's a part where you could have jumped in. So as long as you're okay with it, Rye is kind of keeping to himself and doing his own thing. That's fair. Getting back into the story, you guys eventually revert into real space. It's been a couple of weeks aboard the ship. You're all probably looking to kind of stretch your legs a little bit more so and kind of get out of your own areas maybe, or maybe you're quite comfortable. You do have that new hangar to kind of hang out in. Around you, you have all of the other ships have been traveling through the drift with you. And again, there's a variety of makes and shapes and sizes. And you land into some real space. Stars kind of form and materialize. You are recognizing that you are now, again, out of the drift. You get a beep from one of the lead ships, and Dustinian kind of over the comm to you guys says, "It'll just be a minute now, and then we can get going. I hope you guys all enjoyed your flight." With that lack of response, you guys wait for.
Well, I'm just eyeing Dustinian suspiciously, recalling the many times that Dustinian accidentally. Oh wait, is he on our ship or
Not on your ship?
Never
No.
mind. I was gonna ad-lib something, but it doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, he poured it out. There's no real reason for him to hang out with you guys when he's got his own crew. So he jumped back aboard them. So you guys come out into real space. You wait for probably 30 minutes. and then a very large warship kind of enters into your plane of view. Sets off your sensors, although you're told pretty quickly that it is a friendly unit. This is a very big warship for what is ostensibly a bunch of rogue pirate dudes. Well, people, I guess dudes is, well, I guess you're a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude. Is that right?
Because we're all dudes.
Thank you. And it looks, in terms of its design, picture maybe like a train without wheels in terms of it's very long, like much longer than it is wide, and it kind of flares out at the end, almost like the skirt on a train. No wheels underneath, and it's not at all designed to look like a land vehicle. It's just kind of how they configured this one. It looks like it is definitely Pact Worlds tech. It's not anything super unusual, but it's an old, kind of out of date, slightly run down, and frequently repaired warship with all sorts of different things spray painted all over it. Like graffiti, some like common sayings, a couple of like honorary like tribute phrases to Bess Mara, the goddess of piracy. In like a big non-threatening letters, you see "Don't panic" on one of the kind of portions of it. It doesn't quite have a name visible amongst all this graffiti that you can tell. But over the comm, Destinian says, "Oh, there she blows. That is our veritable mothership. Goes by the name of Mom." And as Mom pulls up, it has a hangar large enough for the Indecision to dock in, to come fully and rest in, including your additional hangar component. The ship, it doesn't have room to dock all of the ships, but yours is the only ship that would cause a lot of concern if the G Sphere was to kind of find it. So they do take you aboard. The ship is like massively long. You guys kind of glide on in onto a lower level.
So are you?
So I imagine this is like dreadnought size.
Yeah, this would be, I believe, a dreadnought size. And Patrick, you were saying?
Yeah, are you saying we're about to enter his mom?
Are you about to say that your mom is so big, we can enter no problem?
He also said that she blows.
It's true.
So, mom is just okay with anyone getting all up in it?
I mean, Mom.
I mean, she's the one who's letting us in.
Everyone up in her.
I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
I will be honest, Patrick. I did take inspiration from your mom.
Cue Patrick's mom walking in now.
Pat, you brought that upon yourself.
I didn't want to say it.
Bye, Patrick. I love your mom, by the way. She's a nice lady.
Sure,
She's a nice lady.
He's gonna bring his mom on screen and yell at me. I'm in trouble.
That one hurts.
I think Dustin's crying.
A little bit. Yep. A little bit.
I think Pat is too.
A little bit.
I really tried not to say it too. I don't know if you could hear trying to restrain it. I just couldn't.
Oh, that one's getting clipped. You know it.
Oh, I hope so.
Back aboard.
It's not needed.
Pat's mom. We you guys dog fight in the hangar, and you're in a lower level. The sub level seems to be devoted to kind of hangar spaces.
That's
for
usually where they are,
as well as larger craft. And you, I assume, exit the ship. I'm gonna fast forward a couple things for you because I don't think you guys would fight me on it. You exit the ship. You are kind of brought up elevator style to like a hangar portion of it. I actually did out the ship in roll 20. I don't know if it's going to matter at this point, but if you guys want to take a gander, you guys are kind of in a cargo area. There's elevators off to the side that you kind of brought up to here. It's not quite to scale for the dreadnought size, but it's the longest map you guys have ever seen. And You are joined. Yeah, there is a little buggy in this. You guys are in like a little cargo area that does have like ability to kind of access out the back if needed. Now that I'm picturing Pat's mom, every time I say these things, I have to really manage myself. I have done a bad thing, and I am never going to recover from this. You are joined in the hangar by Dustinian, who seems to have taken like a personal craft. That is the I have a little a token in there for a blonde-haired female character, but in this stance, it'll be a stand-in for Dustinian. It was the the best free vector art I could find, and as Dustinian brings you aboard the ship, he says, "Well, welcome to our humble abode. Is there any questions I could answer before we actually see the commander of this vessel?"
What's the commander's name?
Goes by the name Lahris.
Kazune.
Mm-hmm.
Can you spell that?
L''HRIS.
Can you say it?
This is Chris's character. Yep. I knew it.
Oh.
Oh god, he's gonna be terrible.
He's the worst one.
I can't wait.
Lahris. He goes by the name of Lahris.
First.
And
I've been practicing.
it's a friggin'
Portmanteau.
Portmanteau.
Reverse portmanteau.
I've been I've been practicing how to say it too. I had a couple of options. I went with Lahris. So that sounds spacey, right?
Laris, yeah.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Yeah.
We call him Commander Lahris, or sometimes I like to call him Pops.
Does he own Ma?
Excuse me?
It's never mind.
So, Chris ostensibly is the commander of Pat's mom.
No. No.
I think for Patrick's sake, we should probably leave. Like, feel free to say it in your head. Just not.
I wasn't pointing at any specific person.
How about this? Anytime we say mom or whatever,
No.
we in our minds,
No.
we add Pat's in front of it, but we don't actually say it.
Next time I come over your house, your face is gonna smell like my balls.
It doesn't already? Wait, hold on.
Just saying.
I ruined the stream with just one
Yep.
line. He was great. Yeah.
I'm keeping all this for the audio.
Fans. Yeah.
It was better than Sprox.
I
was
don't think
better.
I can actually say anything anymore. I'm afraid to say things. 'Cause now it's, you know what?
You know what Brawl does in this ship?
Oh God.
You know what he might do?
Oh God.
I'm not gonna say it, but I'm sure you could guess.
Why?
My hatred of your mama jokes is so high.
You started this. You started this.
No.
Yes, you did.
Oh, which person was I pointing at? Which individual one of you was I referencing?
I don't know because I wasn't watching you.
He was referencing nothing specific at this point. Let's move on from this, please, gentle beings. Any other questions for Dustinian as he leads you through the ship?
Lead the way.
Right.
Seeker's like in awe of how huge this place is. Like, oh wow, it's enormous.
I'm going to go ahead and as you guys are walking through, it does seem to be, despite being aged exterior, the interior does seem relatively modern and very well kept. Like it's very clean. There might be like, some like grease and grunge that kind of accumulates over time. But in terms of the actual, like the floor panels are like modern and kept clean. The walls, like there aren't like open gaping panels or anything like that. Definitely maintained. And I'm just going to kind of highlight like the hallways of the ship that you guys kind of see as you walk through, as Dustinian leads you through. And he kind of like points out some things, like you guys pass like a rec room, some crew quarters. He likes to gossip, he likes to show off, and he feels very much
Do we
at
actually
home.
see other crew?
No, you don't see any other crew in the rest of the ship at this time, because you are only walking through hallways. And I'm trying to highlight the path that he would take for you guys. This may come in later if you guys get into a fight with the entire crew, if there is an entire crew. So I'm trying to.
You mean the 500 potential people on here?
Yep. I'm not. Is there? What's the size below Dreadnought? I think it probably wasn't a full Dreadnought, but
Battleship.
I don't know
And
if
that would have a crew of 300.
Well, okay. All right. So we have now. I apologize. The podcast. You're just gonna have that cut out, I guess. For our viewers, that is the kind of twisting path the party takes, or can see when they walk by some hallways, to get to the very forefront of the ship. And in there we have there's two individuals. There is the area itself first is it's a really small command area. There's a captain's chair, maybe a co-pilot's chair, a couple of computer stations, which you might recognize as Seeker probably picks up that they are one is a science officer station, one seems more focused on maybe directly communication or some other utensils, and then there's a command screen, which is kind of superimposed and set apart from the actual viewport, which is rather large and does show the stars beyond it. And you guys are in motion. You guys are already traveling to a final destination. For the two entities in the room, there is a human female off to your left manning one of the stations. She doesn't actually acknowledge you guys as you come in. She knows that you are there because she's not obstructed heading. She doesn't have any kind of headsets. She's just firmly ignoring your presence, and her back is turned to the door based on where her workstation is. And the what you guys take to be the captain's chair swivels around slowly as you enter. And in the seat is a average-sized gnome, notable for two features. Well, I'll give them three. The first, completely hairless, to the point of, I know the icon I picked was just a generic bald face I could find. Actually, it looks to the point of hairless with maybe has alopecia or something similar, because there's no eyebrow hair, no facial hair, no hair whatsoever. And the other feature is there is an eye patch over one of the eye. It does look a little bit more medical than just like a kind of lame black cloth patch. May still be there for looks or not. You can't quite tell from this vantage point. I'm drawing on myself with Sharpie again. And the other feature is, in terms of clothing, unlike Justinian, he is much more traditionally dressed in terms of heavy armor spacesuit, ready to go, would easily have a helmet pulled over in case of any kind of vacuum issues. Same thing with the woman. She's dressed in spacer gear, nothing fancy, no uniform, but armored spacer gear for her, and he's wearing much heavier armor. He's, again, a gnome, so he's relatively short. I think he's probably close to 4 feet, but not quite 4 feet, I think is the average height. He's well built. He's pretty stocky, not like brawl thick in terms of thicker short characters, but definitely looks to know his way around with a bit of a physical presence. He nods at Justinian as the somewhat garish space pirate joins you all, and I'm trying to get his token up there. I'm not going to worry about it. I didn't really realize how annoying it is moving tokens on a map that I had to zoom 3 screens for. He nods to Justinian and he says, "Welcome to Mom. How can I be of service to you?"
Oh, it's wonderful to meet you. As somebody else starts talking over Seeker.
I like how you left the preface so we could do it now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, now that you've said it, I'm not gonna.
Because he doesn't talk back in Mom.
I much prefer the idea of him saying that out loud. So good to see you, as somebody talks over me. No one does.
He probably could. He honestly could, because it happens.
So you nice to meet you, Commander. My name's Miller.
I take a look at the captain's chair.
Okay.
How nice is the captain's chair?
It's nice, except it doesn't seem to have been fit to a gnome. It does seem to be for a standard-sized humanoid. So nice, but a little oversized for the current occupant.
Is there a booster seat on it?
No.
Oh.
Is Is it nicer than my captain's seat?
No, your captain's seat's newer.
Nice. I now look 3 times more smug.
Justinian's seat, which he takes as the co-pilot of the ship, that one does seem to have been taken from a more modern ship and does look nicer. It also has cup holders.
It doesn't look like mine, does it?
And doesn't
Not
smell that.
actually, you kind of see someone bringing in a new seat, kind of onto the bridge. Like it's like one of the workers, which is an alien species you guys probably haven't encountered because I haven't named it yet. And kind of drops it off next to Justinian's seat, and Justinian says, "Not now." And the seat is the seat from the other version of the Indecision.
Does he have a small little stuffed toy at his seat too?
Not yet. Give him time. Does anyone else address Laris, the commander?
Yes. Nice to meet you, Commander. My name's Miller.
I walk forward. Oh, just want to make sure I wasn't muted like I normally am.
You're not muted.
I walk forward, and it is nice to meet you. I am the captain of this fine crew. The name is Reich Oren. You've probably heard of me. And without looking, hands over a card from his pocket with his name scribbled on it.
He gingerly accepts the card and he says, "Yes, I have heard of the Pact Breakers. Not many in the crew have not. I'm surprised Justinian didn't mention to us when you were being brought aboard that he had the honor of visiting with the Pact Breakers." He looks over at Justinian with a glare, and Justinian does this with his chair. Kind of swivels so that he's no longer facing his captain. Or
It was a real pleasure to have him. Looks over at Raish.
What?
Don't worry about it.
Justinian has informed me that you are seeking entry to the Pact Worlds, yes?
Correct.
Okay. I'll be honest. I'm somewhat sympathetic to your plight without actual money being exchanged, which may be a first for me. Where do you need to go? What is your plan? And if my crew can help you, we will. He's got a serious demeanor as he speaks. He speaks in a low voice, and he seems relatively no nonsense.
I immediately blurt out the name of a very famous theater. Pick one. Just like without like waiting, I'm like, ooh, and I spurt out.
What's the name of the theater, Pat?
I don't know. I'm tired.
Star Metropolitan. Oh wait, you already picked that one.
I already used the Metropolitan.
The Moon Metropolitan.
No, he clearly references
the Spilber.
It's called Lithyridian, and it's famous on Castrovel. Yeah, Lithyridian.
Write that down.
Well,
I'm not gonna remember that.
We do have a few people with families on planets that we do need to get to. Akaton and Verces, if it's still around, hopefully.
I hope so.
You have all been out of the loop a little bit longer, I think, than the rest of us.
Some of us started outside of the loop. Looks at Seeker.
Seeker has no idea why you're looking at him.
I'm not the best person for maybe all of the details. I don't want to... Filling in is not really my goal here. There is
Did Justinian give us an actual place to get to?
Justinian, no. Justinian's getting you guys access to the Pact Worlds because that's what you guys have been trying to do. Primarily, I think your aim is Verces, because that's where Brawl's family was and was definitely hit during the pistol incident, but that's as much as you guys got.
However, Miller kind of brings up, he's like, well, so that was our first thing on the agenda. From there, we're going to play it by ear. But now that we have some pull in the Pact Worlds, what are you guys up to? What are your plans here?
We're pirates. We pirate. We steal. We disrupt. That's about the extent of our plans. The woman off to the left kind of sniggers a little bit under her breath.
Oh. Miller finally notices her. Oh, what's your name?
I'm impressed with the reaction she has, and I mimic it, but not in a way to like, not like when you look at someone who says something and you go, not in that way of mimicking, like to adapt it into a character.
So not like the SpongeBob meme.
So like yeehaw.
Not like the SpongeBob meme. No. Is that how you do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't.
me.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't watch SpongeBob, so.
It's not. It's fine.
It's the meme.
Yep. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Okay. So in terms of that, it's kind of like a snort, but delivered a little bit more extended. So if you want to actually practice that, Patrick, that'd be fine. Something along those lines. Yeah. You got it. I can't really do it, and I almost just shot
blowing your nose
everywhere.
Ryan just goes, yeehaw!
Valid, I'll allow it. So she doesn't turn to acknowledge Miller, and she just says, if you have to call me something, you can call me Ace. Leave it at that.
Sup, ass?
Oh no.
She turns in her chair, looking directly.
That was out of character. Should have specified that was out of character.
Directly at LaFriss. And he says, she says, if you had to space one of them, I nominate the La Junta. And
I'm for it.
Do not space one of them. I'm going to be very disappointed in you, Captain. And she kind of switches on back to looking at her console unit.
Miller telepathically to Rye, hey, I think she likes you.
They all like me.
Loris stands up in his chair, which brings him like about to where the head of the chair should be. And he puts his hands on his hips and he says,
when he dips, you dip, you dip?
Nope. And he says, we go by the name Alphas. We had a bit of a rebranding about a year ago when many of our hometowns were smeared across the Pact Worlds. We don't have much of a drive like maybe some of you or the rebels you hear about, but we like to pirate and disrupt things with the Border Space Union. And I suspect you guys are going to be at least trouble for them as well, yes?
What was your name before Alphas?
Alphas? We were the Doring Initiative.
Ah, haven't heard of them.
It was rather small. We've gotten much bigger since we had some open recruitment.
Do you guys have information networks to communicate with people on the Pack Worlds, between all the worlds?
No. I could set you up with a smuggler to get you on a planet or two, but that's about where my involvement ends.
So what planets are still there? That's a good question.
We didn't. No planets were lost.
Oh,
I don't know why you have that in your head. It was not the incident that occurred. Definitely damaged some planets, but destroyed cities, not worlds.
Oh, that's kind of what I was asking.
Even Absalom Station, as difficult as it took it, still standing, just a little bit on the smaller side.
Epsilon Station.
Yeah.
What about 4T2 DM?
Funny that you should ask. Actually, the two standout stars of that radio station have joined forces with us. Actually.
Oh, no way.
Yep. The 4T2
Rob, do you hear that?
DM channel was shut down when the Border Space Union, the Gerson Sphere, overran Absalom Station. So now they've put up their own, we like to call it, pirate radio.
Great movie. Fantastic movie.
Are they here?
Oh, aboard this vessel. Not so much. We left them back in the Diaspora. We don't like to take them out on missions. They're a little temperamental, especially the Vesk.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
He get out of control sometimes.
For the listeners, we are referring to Erikar Starscreamer from the radio promo we did way back when we were still getting the show put together. The other crew member or staff member of that was Skip Halfbeat, a halfling disc jockey. Yep.
Do the
You can
voice,
listen to
but-
all their adventures. Wait a second.
We more coming soon.
Hopefully.
The radio show will return.
But you mentioned rebels. There's rebel groups out here.
Not everyone is happy with the change in government, the change
Of
in
course.
hand. Yeah, there's definitely a couple pocket rebellions, a couple of resistance movements here and there. I'll be honest, while they've approached us, we don't truck with causes. We're no martyrs. You'd be on your own a little bit in terms of contacting them, although I suppose we could give you some pointers if you needed them.
That'd be much appreciated. But what do we need from you today? I forget why we're here. Oh yeah, we need to get to Verses, right? Yes, Verses. That's where you're from, Brawl.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. What kind of information can you get us about Verses?
Trying to look up in the Pact Worlds. Brawl, did you have a city for where your hometown was? Did you pick a town?
I think we discussed it way back.
What do you mean
when-
was?
Was what? Okay, I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about. I'm trying to find it in. I found Akaton. We have the Pact Worlds PDF from Paizo is out, and it is pretty fantastic. I haven't quite read all of it yet, but I got like halfway through while I was at the conference in Arizona. Let's see. There's Athalo. Let's see. Probably not Camshaft. Industrial plantation. What's Kashak? Bastion, technical notification. So it looks like the nation's capital city, Nabokan, is for the Ring Nation of Kashak. So maybe probably not far from Nabokan then.
Yeah, what I do remember is that it was where the split in terrain happened on Verses.
Isn't that
remember it's like half desert, half
night, right?
yeah, something like that.
Well, I think the city, if I'm not mistaken, the planet is actually has a city kind of running around its equator. Is that right? Where is this?
Yeah.
Because everything's kind of focused there. So there is kind of a couple of things. We'll say that your family was located near one of the bigger capitals, not maybe necessarily directly in it, but let's see. Your family, would they have been interested in tech at all? Kind of like Miller. Kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Or it could have been in the Mall is one of the larger nations, which would also work too. We'll figure out the specifics off screen, I guess, going forward. Figure out using the you can definitely use the core rulebook, but the Packed Worlds, if you have access to, if you've picked up that PDF yet, you can kind of look through there. They'll have some more specific locations tucked in there as well,
You got it.
and we'll pick there. I will say we'll retcon to wherever you say was targeted by the dome that smashed into it, that full space station that smashed into it, and that is what Loris discloses to you.
Oh no. I gotta get there.
I've got the benefit of Verses is there's a large portion of that planet where people just don't want to go. I can definitely get you smuggled onto the planet if that's your goal. I won't be able to get your ship there. You're welcome to leave it with us, and we are pirates, yes, but we share a common motivation. You can trust us as much as you can trust anyone.
Whatever we gotta leave, I'm going. Doesn't matter.
Was that a sense motive I just heard ting off?
Yeah, from
was-
Pat, but he doesn't realize he's
yeah.
muted.
Yeah. I even sang it.
Well, let's sing it again.
I deleted the sheet music.
All right. So what was your sense motive roll?
25.
In this instance, you don't feel like the Laris is being dishonest. You feel like it's very much in character to speak what's on this person's mind, and in terms of taking your stuff, not their primary goal.
I am uncomfortable with the idea, but if it's the only way to move forward.
So Miller says, all right, so we could definitely be incommunicado then.
Justinian spins back from his shame chair and kind of rotates back into the conversation, and he kind of reaches over a hand over to the captain and gives him a pat on the arm. He's still standing in his chair, by the way, and Justinian says, "Captain, we'll take it from here. You've done a wonderful job, and props to you for actually taking on these visitors. I know you don't entertain very much, but what the captain hasn't quite covered is the Indecision is a very popular ship in the Border Space Union and G-Sphere archives. There's active footage that is shown quite often of the space where most of Pistol was, and it shows your ship fleeing with another ship. That one's not quite as popular. I'm sorry, it's on my tongue.
Fallen Angel?
That's the one. Yes, the Fallen Angel. That one, more of a standard model ship, so run of the mill. Fancy, yeah, definitely a fancy ship, but you see that anywhere in any kind of dock with money. For the Indecision, when that comes around, people will notice.
Mm-hmm.
We do have smugglers that we go to almost any world in the Pact Worlds. We could definitely get into Verses. The captain looks over and says, "Thank you. I don't actually need you to speak for me, so please." Motions for Justinian to turn around, who shrugs and flips his hair and turns around.
How soon can we be there?
As long as in-system travel takes in the Starfinder.
He says in character.
I get it. In system is 1d6 days.
From here, it would take you about just 2 days if we could put you on one of our faster ships. If you wanted to attend us all the way to the Diaspora, take no more than maybe 3 days total.
Let's do it.
All right, so you guys are going to accompany them to the Diaspora first and kind of get where their home base is, or do you want to get set off with one of their smugglers now and head to Verses? Shaves off, it probably shaves off like 2 days if you do it now as opposed to going all the way to the Diaspora.
Well, weren't we
2 days
trying
off
to
of 2
get
days?
Justinian to Justinian? Wasn't that what we were trying to do?
No,
No, we
Justinian
were
has
just trying
no
to get
interest.
into the Pact Worlds.
Oh,
altogether.
okay, yeah. Because I thought we were trying
Justinian-
to meet up with Justinian and...
Nope.
He was the third party to
Oh, okay, get us
have
in.
Justinian meet us. Yeah.
Basically information broker. He was helping you guys out with a mission. You guys know this per Chimera's request. Justinian actually doesn't like you guys
Mm-hmm.
at all.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He
Chimera,
can stand me.
Don't worry,
Chimera's
the feeling
very
is mutual.
fond
By the
of
way,
someone.
I asked for the listeners, so they can, in case they forgot. Yeah,
Yes, it wasn't.
yeah,
you
it wasn't
who forgot.
me.
Yeah, totally. No, so you weren't actually meeting up with Justinian. He was just giving you the contact of his pirate brother. And they had some info on the mission he was running. You intercepted, and now you are here with his commander, which seems to be a pretty well-established pirate group. Having a ship this size for a pirate group in the Diaspora, that's a pretty big deal. Now you don't know about their upper governance. You guys may know on the side there's kind of a governing body of pirates that they may be a part of or may not be. I think they're called the Free Captains, although I can look up that a little bit more research. And the Free Captains is a relatively well-established piracy group, and they can get some pretty bigger ventures. But if this is really a small kind of homegrown little crew. To have a ship this big is a pretty big feat. And he hasn't like not mentioned certain specifics as to how many people are in the alphas or anything like that. You guys aren't getting quite the specific views.
All right. I think we'd probably benefit most from seeing your base of operations first, just to see where our ship would be. Brawl, I know you would like to get to your planet as soon as possible. Believe me.
Yes, Brawl. We all
right there with you.
Don't know about. Yes.
I can wait a day.
All right.
All right. So you guys agree to travel with. You'll stay aboard, Mom, and you are able to. Yep. You are able
Yes,
to.
we all thought it.
You're given access to most of the ship, so if you guys want to look around, and I'll kind of give you some descriptions as to on Roll20. I'll start opening up some things and give you descriptions for the rooms. As you kind of work your way back from this command area where the captain sits, there's like a kind of a bit of a lobby with a room in the center. The room itself doesn't have much by way of features, except that it is a holographic entertainment area. You are able to kind of like port in different scenarios and kind of enter into like a holographic environment. Not completely different from the technology behind Brawl's mech, but definitely used for like entertainment. If you have seen Star Trek, this is where they have their holodeck. He points out, but doesn't give you access. There are some crew quarters off to the sides near this entertainment area. And then the ship kind of splits into like there's a port and starboard. Could someone remind me which is which?
Starboard.
Shut up. What port is left?
Port is left, starboard's right.
All right. So if we're walking from the back of the ship, the left side, the port side, you have that's where the med bay is, and they show you where that is. That's a little bit past those crew quarters. Yeah, we can give some more view here so you guys aren't seeing complete shadow. And then there's entry area. Opposite the med bay, there is kind of a workstation, like an engineering station that I think perks Miller's interest. Going back further past the again back to the ship, going towards aft, next to the medical bay, we have an entertainment area for more traditional entertainment. It's a bench row with kind of like a TV setup or a vid screen, anyways. And then opposite that, on the other side of the ship, we have the commissary, which is a decent sized commissary. You maybe meet there's an android chef who kind of runs the show there. There's in between, like kind of in the middle hallway of the ship, there's what is like their command area where they would have like a group discussion meeting maybe. Going on the same side as the health station, the medical station, the entertainment room, we get into more crew quarters, which is where you guys are allowed, like you guys are given bunks here if you don't want to stay aboard the Indecision. So you guys are kind of shown where there's some rooms there on the left. Sorry, port. Going back to starboard, they don't show you the room that's opposite the bulk of those crew quarters. They just mentioned that that's the brig. When you get continuing further down for midship, just straight up in that middle kind of aisle that you're working down, the like rather large aisle, that's where you get some more of like the ship's engineering, like how you get control systems on the ship, technical stuff. Again, maybe interesting to Miller, and you guys actually have a lot of engineering between you, so that's accurate. The last room before you get back to that cargo bay on the port side is where they keep all of their like space suits and extra gear for kind of doing going outside of the ship, exosuits, things like that. And there may be some other like kind of accoutrements that are relevant to that. And then the last ship on the starboard side, sorry, the last room on the starboard side is the Armoury, where you do meet a rather grumpy dwarf who kind of runs the Armoury, and he doesn't really want anyone in there without kind of written permission from Laris.
Now, throughout this entire time, I take it we're seeing lots of people moving around, or?
You see I've revealed a couple of icons for you. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks to be a like full functioning and like introduced crew of 8. that are the standout, like they run their areas. There are some, now that you guys have been introduced to the captain and kind of vetted, as you guys walk through the ship, you guys are kind of subjected to some scans, so they are pretty confident they've got your number if they need it. There are general crew members that are, in terms of this game, faceless NPCs.
Yeah.
And it's a decent compliment. I will say this also isn't the only floor of the ship, but it's the floor that people like work, like live on. The kind of other floors are like work on, hangars, maybe some more like weapon controls, because you guys haven't really seen anything for that for the ship.
Cool.
But in terms of this, you guys are kind of in the living quarter area, and you do see, again, those primary NPCs, which all have names and things, which we'll go to later if you guys ever need to interact with them. And then there are some kind of generic crew members.
Cool. Did you make this?
Yes, I used Dungeon Fog, which is a program that we kickstarted, or I actually kickstarted, and is releasing soon. This is still from their alpha, which is, I mean, kind of cool for the alpha.
It
This took me,
looks pretty good.
This probably took me 10 minutes to build, and I'm only using assets from Dungeon Fog. I will say it took me about 4 times of like restarting to get the dimensions right. And when I went to access my saved file, it has nothing in it. So fortunately, I exported it before I left. So it's definitely alpha. There are definitely some alpha issues with Dungeon Fog. But when this thing is done, running, and up to stuff, I am super excited for the
Yeah, no, it looks really nice.
program. I also, again, I spent 10 minutes on it. If I'd spent a little bit longer, I could have done. They have a couple more options than I utilized. That's the brig that whoever just pinged that.
It's great. You never have to worry about expanding rooms.
Ha ha.
All right. As you guys are going through the ship, do you guys have any questions for Dustinian, who would give you the tour? Larissa, you can ask questions for, but he does not leave the commander's area, and he's got a cabin tucked in around that area.
No, I think
Brawl's good.
Nothing,
He's content with being able to hopefully see his family in a few days.
Okay.
nothing
So
for
in
now.
terms of like plot content, is where you're going. You guys eventually, after a couple of days of being like in the crew, using their galley, we'll do some introductions of the crew at the beginning of next episode, just to get you so you know who those kind of NPCs are. For now, though, you guys make it to the Diaspora just fine. No issues. When you get there, you kind of arrive at what they call their home base. The Diaspora is just like kind of a large collection of asteroids that are said to have come from, I think, a pair of destroyed planets that now make up this haven for pirates and people that don't want to be found.
Yeah.
This ship, being rather large, does have some issues navigating the more tightly packed areas. So it does have like a large, like massive asteroid that it does call a home base. There's nothing on this asteroid, though. It is not like hollowed out or anything. It's just like, it's literally where they rest the ship. So you are on their home base. It's just they have like a port that they come to regularly, that they've kind of like, there's maybe some like ability to like get traction on the rock. It might have like a couple of supplies on there, but there's not like a full standing structure. This is where you guys can pick up the Indecision. For now, you guys will be boarding one of their smuggler craft, which is about the same size as the Indecision when it's not attached to the cargo hangar. And it's a nondescript, older model ship, transport with very minimal weapons for protection. And we'll pause there because we're going to wrap up tonight's episode. But we'll do next episode. We'll introduce you guys to the NPCs, and then we'll see there's some activity on the Diaspora we have before we get to the Verces trip. But next episode is NPC introductions, a bit of a thing that happens in the Diaspora, and then the Verces trip. So come prepared, you idiots. And for everyone else who is not one of my wonderful cast members, I just want to say we're going to close down tonight's episode, hang out for the after party if you so choose. And until we see you guys next Tuesday, just remember to never split the party.
Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick.
I did, okay.
It's always Patrick.
All right, we'll close down the regular show. We'll move
Unless
into
it's
the
not.
after party.